In 1958, water reached 1,720 feet up this Alaskan mountain, higher than the Empire State Building. But a wall that tall did not race through the bay. 3 fishing boats were trapped inside when the disaster began. To understand how any survived, we must rebuild 10 terrifying minutes. 3 things need answers: what the famous height really measures, why this bay amplified the disaster, and how one boat crossed land without being destroyed. First, look at the trap. Lituya Bay is a long, narrow Alaskan fjord. Mountains rise from deep water. 2 smaller inlets form a T where glaciers meet the sea. Near the ocean, spits squeeze the entrance. It looks protected. Its narrow shape made it dangerous. On July 9th, 3 fishing boats were inside. One carried Howard Ulrich and his 7-year-old son. Another held a married couple. The water was calm enough to sleep. Then, a powerful earthquake moved the Fairweather Fault beneath the mountains. The shaking lasted for minutes. Slopes broke loose. Glaciers cracked. Near Gilbert Inlet, a piece of mountain failed. About 90 million tons of rock dropped roughly 2,000 feet into the water, like 8 million dump trucks arriving together. The earthquake did not directly lift a giant sheet of ocean. It released the rockslide. The slide hit a small inlet, like an asteroid striking a bathtub. Water had nowhere to move except across the inlet and up the opposite wall. The first surge ran up the mountain to 1,720 feet above sea level. Geologists call this run-up, the highest point reached by water. It was not the height of a wave that kept traveling. A survivor later stressed the difference. Water splashed that high at the impact site. After climbing the wall, water fell back into the main fjord. The bay's steep walls and U-shaped floor focused the surge, while the narrow channel forced it forward. Around much of the bay, damage still reached about 700 feet. This pale ring is not snow or fog. The wave stripped trees and soil, leaving younger forest beside older growth. About 2 square miles of forest were sheared away. The scar could be measured from aircraft the next day, and traces remain visible from space. The fishermen heard an explosive crash, then saw ice, trees, and water moving through the fjord. Near one boat, the surge looked roughly 50 to 75 feet high, not 1,700. It was still large enough to fill the bay from shore to shore. Howard Ulrich could not free his anchor. He started the engine and paid out the chain. When the surge arrived, the chain snapped. The boat climbed the steep face. At the crest, father and son were carried toward, and apparently over, a forested spit. They did not outrun the wave. They rose with it. Position, buoyancy, and extraordinary luck kept the hull above the water. Another boat survived, but the boat near the entrance sank, and the couple aboard vanished. Survival changed across only a few miles. The danger did not end with the crest. Water sloshed from wall to wall. Logs covered the surface. A cabin on Cenotaph Island was destroyed, and a lighthouse vanished. The bay needed roughly half an hour to begin settling. USGS geologist Don Miller had studied older wave scars here. After 1958, he flew over the bay, photographed the fresh trimline, and mapped its height. He had already documented giant waves in 1853 or 1854, 1874, 1899, and 1936. Most famous tsunamis begin when an earthquake shifts a huge area of seafloor, sending energy across an ocean. Landslide tsunamis are different. Near the impact, they can be far taller because water moves in one small place. But NOAA says they usually lose energy quickly and rarely threaten distant coasts. Lituya Bay still has steep rock, glaciers, deep water, a narrow fjord, and an active fault. Older trimlines prove 1958 was not the first giant wave. Another is not due on a schedule. The lesson is that this hazard is local, fast, and offers little warning. So the record was real, but the common picture is wrong. 1,720 feet was the highest run-up opposite the slide. The wave moving through the bay was lower, though still deadly. The surviving boats did not conquer a skyscraper-sized wall. They rose in the part of a violent system that did not crush them. The pale scar answers the first question. The broken anchor answers the second. The shape of Lituya Bay answers the third. Which clue changed your picture of the disaster most?